On a quiet Thanksgiving morning, calm turned into chaos on the streets of Encino. A Honda Civic racing down the 101 freeway catches the attention of law enforcement as the California Highway Patrol takes over the pursuit from the Los Angeles Police Department. Despite light holiday traffic, the driver pushes the limits, exiting at Balboa Boulevard, then veering onto Burbank Boulevard, recklessly crossing into oncoming lanes near Woodley Avenue. But the chase didn't stay on paved roads for long.
Straight through on the 101 freeway. It's anybody's guess. He's really got his pick of the litter here with all the light traffic. So we'll see what happens here, guys.
Our Chris Christie high above this pursuit happening on the 101 right now. You see the very dark. As Chris Christie mentioned, we are on the 101 southbound, headed to the Encino area as it's cruising through, kind of shaded there behind some of those trees. There are officers CHP in pursuit, and there it goes off an exit ramp here. This looks like it's Balboa, exit 21 of the 101. There are some options here, whether or not it's going to go south or north. We shall see as it approaches the intersection here. There are a couple would look like sedans stop there as it goes. Looks like it's going to make a right turn here as it pulls up, actually stops at the intersection. Instead, it makes a left, and you see the pursuit happening from behind. This pursuit started in Calabasas. It is now on the streets off the freeway. We are in Encino, headed on Balboa northbound. As Chris Christie mentioned, it is relatively light traffic out there on this Thanksgiving holiday. Smart move there by that car to move out of its way. But we are on side streets now, turning onto Burbank Boulevard. Very few cars out there. This is a slow-moving pursuit at the moment. We saw it get up to about 70 miles an hour while that vehicle was traveling on the 101. As Chris Christie mentioned, this is a Honda Civic, 2 suspects inside, being pursued by the California Highway Patrol. This started as an LAPD pursuit in Calabasas, but now we are on the side streets, currently on Burbank Boulevard, closing in on Havenhurst. This is in Encino as the speeds appear to pick up a little bit here. Obviously, not a lot of cars on the road at the moment, which is a good thing. We saw it hit that intersection, fully stop as it chose between going north or south there on Balboa. But here we are on Burbank, and not another car on the road, which is a relatively good thing at the moment. The pursuit has been going for the better part of 10-15 minutes now. You can't see the CHP vehicles behind this suspect's car, but they got off the 101, and they're just kind of cruising on a wide open Burbank Boulevard.
Yeah, the first thing you notice here, Tim, is that the driving has been really composed. He's got good control of the vehicle. The only erratic move we saw there was making that right turn through the red light onto Burbank Boulevard, now going through another red light into oncoming lanes of traffic. Look at this. Just as we said it, he has pulled a completely unnecessary move here, jumping into the wrong side of Burbank Boulevard over a median here. LAPD right overhead. I was just about to say how controlled the driving is here and how tame this has seemed, even at relatively safe speeds. Look at him pulling off into the park at Balboa Park. There are people in this park. He is now on a hiking path in the park, bicyclists adjacent to that street right there, as he now makes his way into the park looking for an outlet, going underneath the freeway and coming out. He's going to come out underneath that culvert there. He's going to come out on the south side of the freeway. That'll keep him in the park here, potentially looking for a spot to dump the vehicle. You got to wonder, Tim, whether he is familiar with this park. This is a maze down there when you're talking about those bike paths and streets underneath that freeway in this park. He has now made his way off of the freeway, off of Burbank Boulevard, I should say, CHP Boulevard at a safe speed, but then completely unpredictably pulling into the park here. And now you can see CHP looking for that vehicle in the park. You can see the helicopter overhead orbiting, looking for any signs of those suspects. Again, 2 people were inside that Honda Civic. I do not see the vehicle, but presumably they are looking for 2 people.
You called it as it was happening, Chris, because it went onto the other side, onto oncoming traffic. There's the car ditch now, and you see what looks like bottom right hand. Yeah, bottom right hand of the screen. There. You see some
2
footsteps.
Suspects on the run in the trees.
And it's interesting, too, if whether or not they're familiar with the areas, the birds kind of make their way out of there as they walk into that little wooded area. Not much cover unless you're going north of there. Is that a blue shirt there or just something on the ground that looks like a piece of a barrel or garbage there? But obviously those troopers are in hot pursuit. There's one of the suspects, both of the suspects.
There they are. Both
walking
suspects
/
now
running
on
out.
foot, running out of steam here as they slow down. CHP with eyes on the suspect. But
they certainly didn't. It seemed like a very intentional.
Burbank, hit the vehicle and
there, especially when they turned off of Burbank itself and onto the trail where you saw immediately there were people out there exercising, walking, jogging, and folks on bikes. A walking to jogging pursuit when just a matter of time before these two suspects are taken into custody. Obviously, we are keeping a close eye on this as they are at least one of the suspects trying to work their way up to the top of the dam there at the Sepulveda Basin. We know between on the ground and above, police are in hot pursuit, and this is just going to be wrapped up likely in a matter of minutes. Obviously, at the moment, we are watching this as we are on air on this Thanksgiving morning. We're going to be switching over to our streaming as we continue to monitor this pursuit. The two suspects have left that stolen vehicle and are now just casually walking. So their pursuit is about ending. We're going to take this over to streaming as we speak. If you want to continue on there to watch this pursuit wrap up. If not, have a happy Thanksgiving. Well, we are continuing streaming of this slow-moving pursuit at this point. This is one that started in Calabasas, came all the way up the 101. The suspects got off at Balboa and then somehow drove that Honda Civic with the blacked-out windows into a park, into the Sepulveda Basin. And now these two suspects who were kind of running, kind of jogging, mostly walking at this point, are now standing at the top of the dam at the Sepulveda Basin. We don't necessarily see any of those officers, which started with LAPD and then switched over to CHP in the immediate area, but that doesn't mean they aren't going to get there in a matter of minutes. The car was ditched by some wood. You see at the top of the screen there where some of the marked cruisers are at this point, and then those suspects kind of ran around to the side. They are now doubling back in the opposite direction. This is not really much of a pursuit at being through the kind of high shrubs there.
They're out of breath. These guys are pretty much done. I am shocked actually that they are still on the run here. I mean, they made it so easy for LAPD and CHP to catch up here. They were literally sitting ducks at the top of the Sepulveda Basin there, and now just have ventured in to the vegetation, some tall grass here. But they had so many opportunities to look for a hiding spot. They actually went away from the trees. They happen to be dressed in very warm clothing, if you could tell. It's about almost 80 degrees here in the valley. And unfortunately, the truth of the matter is there are many people who live at this park. Now, again, unclear whether these two are residents of the park or are just frequent, park goers here. But
here you go.
They seemed very aware of their way through this park. They knew exactly where to pull off of Burbank Boulevard and eventually were able to navigate their way underneath the freeway before just taking this casual walk. Finally, though, it does appear that they have eyes on them. CHP with their guns drawn, approaching the suspects who are about to be taken into custody. The chase is over. These two were basically just enjoying their final moments of freedom, as we say, until that last gasp. And now you see one of the suspects still walking through the trees here. But again, that LAPD airship has eyes on both of these suspects. Finally coming to a safe end. Nobody hurt here, Tim. Obviously, this could have ended up.
The suspects steer off the street and into the rugged trails of the Sepulveda Basin Recreation Area, kicking up dust as they flee deeper into the brush. Moments later, the Honda is abandoned. The driver and passenger bolt from the vehicle, sprinting through thick vegetation in a desperate attempt to escape. Their run doesn't last long. After a brief foot pursuit, officers close in, bringing the chaos to an end. Two suspects, out of options, now in custody.